Sorry. Femi, are you going to present the presentation?
You would like me to present?
Yes, please.
Okay.
That with a link.
Okay. All right. Tell me if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can, Femi. We got you.
Okay, you can see the screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. So let me just.
Yes.
Okay. So you're welcome, guys. This is amazing. Trying to just give me a minute, please. I need to sort.
Okay. Hay un micrófono por ahí. Can you listen to me?
Yes, we can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay.
All right. So, guys, you're welcome to the June edition of Agriculture 4.0 webinar, and I have my guests. And guys, we have two awesome speakers here today, and that's Luis and Mike. So, like I promised you, it's going to be a power packed section. Just hold on in the hour, and you would come back to tell us that you've gained a whole lot today. So today we're talking about drone, that's UAV, and digital agriculture. So today we just the concept behind this topic is for us to actually look how drone technology is enabling digital agriculture. Okay, so that's all we want to see today. And we know that we're now in the digital revolution age. We're in the fourth agricultural revolution, which is all about digital revolution, digital transformation, and all that names. So you're welcome today as we share. Yeah, I can see Olukemi joining. Good day, you're welcome. Please kind of introduce yourself in the comment section. We would like to know your name, where you're joining from, and yeah, we'll be able to relate better. All right. So not to waste much of our time, I would just invite my colleague, that's Joseph Adeyemi, to actually tell us about Precision Feed Academy, the organizers of this webinar. Yeah, so Joseph, you have the floor right now.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I love to trust we are all doing fine. My name is Joseph Adeyemi. I am a field operational associate at Integrated Dairy Precision, and I'm going to be taking us through the brief information about Integrated Dairy Precision. Uh, sorry, Precision Field Academy. Right. So, Precision Field Academy. Help me with next slide, please. Okay. So I'm going to be sharing with us the vision and other slides as we move on. So the vision is to create a world where every young person, regardless of their background, has the opportunity to become a digitally savvy farmer or agricultural professional, driving sustainable and equitable growth in their communities through the transformative power of technology. And our mission is to raise next gen farmers that are tech inclined and digitally savvy. Uh, the reality is that agriculture is has transformed beyond the level of traditional and conventional method, and digital technology is coming in. We So about Precision Field Academy, so we are a social enterprise. We train and build the capacity of young professionals in modern and emerging technologies for the future of work and to lead with precision agriculture. So our methodology at Precision Field Academy is about education and knowledge sharing. We like webinars like this is part of what we do, and this falls under knowledge sharing and education. So we offer both online and offline trainings. So offline trainings are physical trainings on the field, and online trainings like this and education, it's all about knowledge sharing. So another thing we do is about training and skill development. Under our training and skill development program, this is where you have the opportunity to have a, a real experience, like a real field experience, hands-on experience about data collection, data processing, and also things doing things in robotics, Internet of Things, drone technology. Uh, Also, we have for coaching and mentorship. For some people joining agricultural landscape, it's tend to be like an uncharted territories to them because they might not have the technical know-how on how to go about this thing, and due to pest disease infection and things like that can actually affect uh, them being in a beginner. And so coaching and mentorship actually give them the opportunity to be able to do it properly. And this is coming from professionals in the industry and expertise, giving a guidance to them. So number one is drone technology. So we focus on drone technology as part of our test queue, and drones have been doing quite amazing things in the agriculture industry, revolutionizing the way agriculture is being practiced and be run. So also we have geographic information technology and remote sensing. This is about GIS, collection of data, processing and analytics, and data of satellites, remote sensing technology. So we also have data science in agriculture. It's strictly about collecting data in agriculture, like digital terrain models, 3D maps, and things like that, that can actually help agriculture stakeholders take better informed decisions on how to increase their yield. So, and also we focus on robotics and Internet of Things. With the aid of robots, we can actually do so many things on the farm. Back then, those days where you practice agriculture and you tend to rely on human effort because human can create a downtime. Probably they have health issues and things like that, but robots can actually do a whole lot of things, and this is going to increase productivity as regarding uh, deploying robots to do your work on agriculture. So also is artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence, we have training surrounding artificial intelligence where young professionals in agriculture can create machine devices that are using artificial intelligence that are AI oriented for prediction, predictive analysis, whether you have them on the farm. They can actually predict from the information around the farm, from your ambience to actually predict what is happening right on your farm. So whether you having diseases and also and what are the actions you should take. So things like this is very very important. So lastly is enterprise development. So the key uh, goal behind this is for young professionals to create sustainable enterprise that can actually solve a global problem, providing sustainable solutions to enterprise development, technology inclined companies, startups that are actually revolutionizing agriculture. So this is what we do uh, basically through our methodologies. So, what's our motivation for doing this? So, we discover there is a skill gap to be closed, and young professional needs to build skills, technical and enterprise skills, uh, for the future of work in agriculture. For agriculture to thrive, we understand that young people actually need the technical skill and the enterprise skill to actually succeed in order to meet up with the competitive world of agriculture. And also, observing the trend is not enough. So youth needs to become enabler and player of the fourth agricultural industrial revolution and not mere trend observers. So youth actually need to get engaged. There is like a demand increase involvement of youth in agriculture, and for them to actually um, be relevant in the world of agriculture, which is trending technology coming up. Agriculture is changing differently. They need this knowledge. So this is one of the factors also that serve as a motivation to us in running Precision Field Academy. So lastly, technology is key to unlock African agriculture potential. Agriculture has transcend the conventional method of doing things, and we need to actually deploy technology now to transform agriculture in totality, yeah, leveraging technology to increase productivity and efficiency. So why you should join us? This is very, very important. So I will need us to pay very prompt attention to this. Uh, we are creating the future we want in agriculture, the future we envisage in agriculture. We are creating it. There's an idea that says the best way to create to on the future is to create it. So we are creating a new future in agriculture, the kind of agriculture we want, a digital revolution taking place in agriculture. So we are creating the future. And also we connect you to information and the world of opportunities where you have access to scholarships, um, internships, volunteerships, local and international for your growth. So under the scholarship program, previously we run a GIS program for the youth in collaboration with HITA, Innovative Youth. So things like this are opportunities you can get being a member at Precision Field Academy. You have access to scholarship to run relevant courses that can actually steer your growth, and also internship opportunity for you actually to expand your expertise and also grow a professional career. So internship opportunities are present. Also, you can volunteer to work on the Precision Field Academy. Like what I'm doing now is about volunteer. I'm a volunteer at Precision Field Academy, and I must say my experience so far is awesome and amazing. And I'm still looking forward to keep growing the more learning from industry expertise and from all these webinars we have. So it's a very, very great opportunity to be here. So also we have for skill development. So skill development are executed through project collaboration, community interaction, and workshops. So this workshops like this, either online or even offline. So it's all about skill development. We have project collaboration where young people can bring ideas together, where we can execute ideas that can transform the world generally. So, and lastly is access to coaching and mentorships for from industry leaders and professionals. So, as a member of Precision Field Academy, you have an access to coaching and mentorship that from professionals. They can actually give you a guidance that can actually help you to be efficient and productive in your own career process, also in building your career generally.
All right. Uh, Joseph, thank you so much for that introduction. I know that you all would agree with me that we have a power-packed program for you at Precision Feed Academy. So, in essence, what we are doing in this community is to raise young, tech-inclined, and digital savvy farmers and professionals. So, thank you so much for joining us today. So, without further ado, let's get into the business of the day, learning about drone technology and digital agriculture. So, guys, so this is why we're here. Okay. And I would be inviting my speaker, that's Luis, the CEO of Agrobyte. You're welcome, Luis. So before you come up, okay, let me just put you on the screen. Yeah, so I will just read your profile so that our audience can be able to know who you are and what you're made of. Thank you so much. So, Luis, born and raised in Mexico City, he has a bachelor's degree in international relations, worked for several renewable energy companies developing large-scale solar and wind energy projects. Started working with drones in 2018 with Aerospec. Did area thermography in 4 continents. In 2019, founded Agrobyte, and in 2020, founded Byte TS. And brought bought NJ Drone Academy and JC Obi assets to turn them into Byte Drone Center, Agrobyte and Airbyte assets to turn them into Byte Drone Center. Okay, sorry, and Airbyte Golf Scenes. Since then, provided services to multiple clients in several fields. So Luis played pivotal role in Agrobyte as a leader responsible for developing and expanding the company. He oversees the global team of, can you guys hear me? I guess my power went off. Okay, let me just continue with this. Hi, Liz, can you hear me? Joseph, please, can you see me? Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Liz, can you speak now?
Yes. Can you listen?
Okay. 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 So, you're welcome. So, can I just share the screen so that we don't waste too much time?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And here we go.
Yes. Are you going to present the link that I sent you, Femi? Oh, yes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Femi, first of all, for this invitation. I am your great admirer. I have been following your work. I don't know, maybe 2, 3 years, since 2, 3 years. Okay, Femi, I can share my screen now. So I'm gonna tell today. I want to focus in this what we call a soft onboarding into digital agriculture. Our approach it is more targeted to the farmers, to the regular farmer, and the one that for me that is not the link. Okay, yes. Okay, so yes. So here in this presentation, I want to show you our workflow, how we onboard people into digital agriculture. So here, what I was mentioning is that first, well, we know, we understand that farmers may sometimes find drones and digital agriculture intimidating. You start talking about drones, and sometimes the farmers will be like, no, 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 what is that? That is dangerous. That is expensive. That is difficult. But we have somehow developed this onboarding to show people that it is easy. So for this, if you want to go to the next slide, please. And for this, what we do first is we ask our yes, the farmers to give us how to say to give us I'm sorry, check out the notifications. Sorry. So yes. So what we first do is we ask the farmers to give us the location of their farms. So what we do is we locate a farm, and then we will draw a polygon of the entire farm, and then we will draw subfields. So that way the farmer can start looking at its farm from above. Google Earth is a free software. So here the thing is that we just need to show them how we use it. So we go to air.google.com, we download the software, and then we draw these polygons. We even show the farmers how to do this. It is very simple. It is very easy. Okay, so could you go to the next one, please? So after that, once that we have located a farm, then we save this file as a KML file that we're going to be using it later with multiple software. So after this, what we do is we use pics for the fields to gather satellite data and be able to understand major problems within the farm in the past. Femi, can you move your slide, the next one, please? Femi, can you listen to me? Femi? Oh my God. Hello? Hello? No puede ser posible. Hello?
Okay, I Luis. It's actually on the screen.
Okay, yes.
Or you want
Can
me?
you go to the
Okay, this is a picture for this. I should move to the next.
mm, Femi, can you listen to me?
Yes, I can listen to you.
Okay,
I
could you
can hear
go
you.
please to the next slide, please?
Yeah, this is the next slide for Mavic Air 2. I've moved from picture D.
Okay, so okay, and then the next one, I cannot see it in the screen.
Whoa, but
So
it's showing on my screen.
okay, so I want to show yes. So then we go to pics for the fields, and then we start gathering some satellite data. So there in pics for the fields, we can choose the how say that the imagery, the satellite imagery from different dates. So we also have to consider the cloud coverage. In many cases, we are going to be able to generate these vegetation index. We can get a NDVI index. The thing, it is important to mention that when you are working with satellite data, you're going to have a resolution of 10 meters per pixel. Whereas when you are working with drones, you can get from 2 centimeters to even to 0.5, depending on the accuracy, depending on the other tools that you are using. If you're using an RTK base station, you're going to have, of course, an extra accuracy. If you are working with a Phantom 4 RTK, or if you are working with a Mavic 3 multispectral, then you're going to have an extra accuracy. Um, Femi, could you please go to the next slide? I am in slide number 6. Uh-huh.
Can you see the screen now?
Okay, yes, slide number 6, please. Okay, yes. So after that, we show the farmer that what will be the major issues within his farm, and then tell him here that by using a simple drone with a simple sensor such as the Mavic Air 2S, then we can give them a wider analysis. So in this case, I am going to use the Solis platform. So if you want to move to the next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, so in this case, thank you. So in this case, we have already first mapped all the farm. Let's say, in this case, well, we are using our KML files that we created on Google Earth, and we are going to be focused just in one field of the farm. In this case, we are focused in curly willow. It is a tree. So here we are working with flowers. So here, once that we segmented this field, we then can proceed and do a wider analysis. So for example, here, and just with the Mavic Air 2S, remember, with RGB. So in this case, we already know, what we did is we counted the trees. So we can see that there are 785 plants, 785 trees. So then is when you start, how you say, creating this emotion from the farmer, when they say, oh my God, can you do this with a simple drone? Can you provide this, how you say, these outputs, this information? Okay, yes, I want to learn more. Then could you please go to the next slide? So after that, we show the farmer what will be the major, okay, no, sorry. So then after that, what we do is, then we will tell the farmer that by using a multispectral sensor, in this case, it should be, let's say, a Mavic 3 multispectral, a Mavic 4 multispectral. Could you, I'm sorry, we can get different vegetation indices such as the NDVI. So in this example, we are using CultiWise. Could you go to the next one, please? So in CultiWise, again, or we can use CultiWise, we can use Solvi, we can use, how to say, picks for the fields, of course. We can use several software, several platforms to then generate this index, the NDVI index. The NDVI index allows us to get different information. We can tell the health of the farm, the health of the crop, in a deeper level, not just how stressed are the plants, but we can detect bugs, detect some diseases, and then with the idea of creating prescription files, with the idea of working with this information, because this information normally it looks somehow impressive, you show this to the farmer and the farmer is like, oh wow, yes, but then what? Yes, it's very beautiful, but then what? So then is where you have to explain to them what what do the colors mean, and you can start detecting some major issues. So normally, let's say that you are doing this at their farms, so you can then go with them and show them where there's a major problem, when you can see a big anomaly in the farm. Could you go to the next slide, please? So then let's say that we, after that, let's say that we again will focus on an area of interest and then analyze it considering now all these elements. So go please to the slide on picks for the fields. The next one, please. So in this case, again, we are now focusing on another part of this same farm, on another field. In this case, we are focusing on winterberry, another kind of flower. And here, we already have set the parameters. We already know what information we are looking. And we are just now focusing on this specific part of the field. And we now know, again, we know more information about the farm. We can know more details. And then, for example, in this case, let's say that it is, let's suppose that this field, it is 10 acres. So normally, let's say that we should spray 2 gallons per acres. So that would be 20 gallons, right? 2 gallons times 10, 20 gallons. If you're gonna do it in an homogeneous way. So what we do here is we work with variable rate application. So once that we have this map, then we're gonna go and we're gonna create a prescription file. Uh-huh. We can then say, okay, this field, I can see that there are some parts of the field that they are healthy, some parts of the field they are not healthy, you know. So instead of us spraying the 20 gallons in an homogeneous way, we are going to spray according to what they need, you know. So let's say that probably we should then just spray 18 gallons. So we will be saving 2 gallons. We'll be saving 10% in this case. Look, the percentages, they can vary a lot, depending on several factors. This example, it is just to show you how you can attract the attention of the farmer or even of the food executive, of the food company executive. So please, let me go to the next one, the next slide. So after this, what we do is we will create a prescription file that should be executed whether with a tractor or with a drone, you know. So in many cases, the farmers, they are already using their tractors, you know, and there are already many tractors on the market that allows to execute these kind of files. So then is when they started to get familiar with what we are talking about. There is where you say, oh, okay, yes, I have heard of a variable rate application. Oh, yes, I have heard that there are some tractors that they can do this that they do variable rate application. So then is when you say, okay, so look, you can also do this. You can also execute these results using drones. Femi, can you go to the slide number 13, please? Uh-huh. So of course that we need to know what they are going to spray. So for example, in this case, we know we are classifying these fields in 5. Uh-huh. So you can see the colors. You can see the red, the orange, the yellow, the amber, and the green. Uh-huh. So let's say that in the green part, the drone will be spraying 100%, means like what I was telling, 2 gallons per hectare. Uh-huh. That should be like the normal quantity. Uh-huh. But so let's say that should be like the parameter, and then where it is red, you should spray more. Where it is yellow, you should spray a little bit less, you know. So the idea is that instead of spraying your 20 gallons, you can spray 19. You will be saving some, some agrochemicals. This is important in different ways because it is not just about saving money. It is also about sustainability. We all know that sometimes, well, not sometimes, many times, well, all the time, sorry, these chemicals, they are harsh for the soil. They can be aggressive for the, underneath the soil. So that's why it is important to also let them know that in this case we will be working not just in a more efficient way, but also in a more sustainable way. And then, Femi, can you go to the next one, please? So the idea, once that we have these files, then we will be ready to execute them with sprayer drone. Uh-huh. So this is like a very easy workflow to follow. It is a very easy way to showing the farmers the benefits. And look, until here, I haven't even mentioned the sprayer drone, or I have just barely mentioned it, you know? So then is where, by then, the farmer is already acquiring the technology. By then, when we are already in this slide, the farmer has already how you say an idea of how these drones work. You are not going to persuade or to convince a farmer uh, bringing this amazing T40 drone and tell them that it is fantastic. Because yes, they will say, okay, well, yeah, I know it is fantastic, but how should I use it? And look, I'm sorry, but right now I am very focused on my crop. I am very, how to say, I'm very busy with my farm. The harvest time is coming soon. So I'm sorry, Femi, but I don't have time for you. Thank you for your information. Maybe next year. Maybe wait for me until the harvest is done, and then I can, how to say, I can listen to you. So our approach, it is very soft. Our approach is, dude, I know that you are super busy right now. I know that you are working super hard on your farm because we don't know how much harvest we're gonna get, right? So the idea is that how to say, we go with you, but we don't want to disturb you. So first thing is, hey, do you think you can give me the location of your farm? So then they can say, okay, yes, this is the location of my farm. Or even if you know them, you go to Google Earth, you tap the address, and then you see the farm from above, and then you say, okay, so this is the farm. Then you can gather some satellite information from multiple sources. In this example, I am showing pigs for the fields, but there are different options. There are some options for free. There are some options that cost money. We also work, for example, with EOS. In this case, EOS is another satellite company. You have access to 7, 10 different satellites, so you can have information day by day. You can have some detailed weather forecast. So this is how you can start presenting their farms. And then once the farmer says, oh, that sounds interesting. Hey, look, I know that you are super busy. I know that I don't want to take too much time from you, but do you mind if I can go to your farm? If you don't want, you don't have to be there. I just want to go to your farm with my Mavic with my Mavic Air 2S, or with my Mavic Pro, or with my Mavic 2 Pro, or with my Phantom 4. In this case, remember, we are just getting RGB imagery. A Phantom 4, many times the farmers are more familiar with a Phantom 4 that they would be with a matrice 300, with a matrice 350. So the idea is that you go with a farmer and you say, look, this drone, have you seen one of these drones? Yes, they are already they're all over in the market. This drone, I don't know, for me, how much would it cost in Nigeria, but normally it is a drone that should cost right now $500, $700, maybe $1,000, no more than that. So that is a drone that can be used for this purpose, and then the results that you can get from it, they are amazing. So for that, we use Sobi. Sobi has the option pay as you go, so you don't have to buy an expensive membership. You don't have to buy these $2,000 a year membership. In this case, with $150, you can start getting some information from the farm. You can start doing some plant count. You can you can count plants. You can do some stand count. You can start giving the farmer information that in many cases, even if the farmer is super busy, then they'll say, oh, this is interesting. Okay, tell me more, tell me more. So you go then with a Mavic, with the RGB, and then you tell them, look, so this is the information that we can get with this simple drone. We can get more information from your farm. We can help you more if we use a multispectral sensor. So with a multispectral sensor, for example, we will know when is the perfect time to harvest your crop. We can know exactly how are these crops behaving. We can give you way more insights. And then the
Hi,
idea
Luis.
is after that,
Hi, Luis.
uh, yes,
Luis, you said, hi, sorry, you're I, echoing. You're
excuse
echoing.
me,
You're echoing. Perhaps you have a second device.
excuse me. Hello,
Yeah, it's better now.
yes, can you listen?
Yes, it's better now. No, no more echo.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have some internet problems here. So what I was saying is that this way, you are showing the farmers all the benefits of drones and digital agriculture without coming with an aggressive, how to say, with an aggressive way. Then, oh yes, I'm going to cover, I'm going to charge uh, 30 acres, $30 per hectare, or whatever it is paid in Nigeria. So I think that is a good approach. Mike, do you mind telling a little bit more?
You're welcome,
Good.
Mike.
Hey, am I live?
Yes,
Can you guys hear me?
yes, Mike.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for their time because I know everyone's busy. So taking time out of your busy day to attend this webinar has been a pleasure from our side as well. I want to thank Femi for inviting us as well. I think agriculture is something that touches home for all of us, right? Because at the end of the day, we all eat food. So um, I think one of the benefits to what Lewis was walking everyone through is when you look at digital agriculture, sometimes it's a big, not scary, but it's something that a lot of people don't know really how to wrap their arms around, or they're not really sure how they can incorporate the benefits and the values of digital agriculture in their own operation. So one of the ways that was really well done, Lewis, good job, is highlighting all the different technologies that are available to people, right? So even with a fairly straightforward, simple drone, you can capture RGB imagery without, having a highly expensive multispectral sensor. And all of the platforms that Lewis spoke about, they all have the ability to process vegetation indices based on RGB imagery. So multispectral imagery will give you more details as to what is causing the stress, but all of these platforms combined will still give you the value of understanding where stressed plants and crops are within your field. One of the other interesting components when we look at all the technology that Lewis just presented, that's only really been available since like 2017. Right? And the early adopters of that technology were large corporations. So corporations like, the pharmaceutical companies that generate the field treatments that get sprayed on crops, as well as seed manufacturers and research ag. So all of those large companies with lots of money, they're the ones that were looking out to the software industry saying, we need this. So the first people that started adopting these technologies were all very well versed in what those technologies deliver and the value that they can glean from that. So the very first iteration for the rest of us down in the small SMB side of the space, and when I say SMB, I'm talking about small to mid-sized businesses. So like farms, crop consultants, drone service providers. The beauty about what's happened in the industry from a trend perspective is because those companies are utilizing those platforms to generate their own new field treatments, new product lines, new seeds, so on and so forth, the technology is trickling down to our level. But more importantly, the messaging behind the technology is trickling down to our level. And what I mean by that is, if we were all, everyone here on the call, if we all formed a giant corporation and we had billions of dollars, we would be buying these platforms and we'd have teams of PhDs. They wouldn't have to ask those companies any questions. They would know what to do with the technology. We, on the other hand, we may not have a whole bank of PhDs to understand it. This is where these companies have realized that, yes, there is a good market in the enterprise and the research ag world, and that'll always be there because they drive the industry from that perspective. But there is a lot of us down here at this level willing to spend money as long as we have the right technology, the messaging and training to deliver value. So what these platforms have been able to do is they've been able to bridge the gap, and the messaging that they're putting out in their blogs, on their marketing material, is all geared for us down here. So it's geared to people who want to take that technology and bring it into their own organization, but it's also bridging the gap for people that may be a drone enthusiast and capturing data for the real estate industry or the construction industry. And now they're saying, hey, I want to get into the agricultural space. This technology will allow them to bridge that gap very easily. So it gets them into the mixture. It gets them out there talking the same conversation. And the more people we're having these conversations with, the more we're educating the industry. So a lot of the technologies, when you look at like some of the images that Luis showed you during that presentation, they're giant pictures with color gradients. Like a PhD could look at that and they know exactly what to do. But what all of these platforms have realized is if they can bring the counts down to every single plant and draw a polygon around those plants, they can then associate plant health to the plant. And once Solvay did that, it changed the entire industry, right? Because now what you have the ability to do is you can capture data over a giant, field of crops. And instead of getting that gradient where you're not really sure red is good, or red's bad, green's good, now you know what plants are unhealthy, right? So now you can validate that issue a lot sooner than you could have in the past. So the other big component is the better we become at explaining the value of the deliverables. And what I mean the deliverables is, yes, anyone can learn how to fly a drone. Anyone can learn how to process the information in these platforms, right? I worked at Solvay for almost a year, and it's fairly straightforward to learn how to use a program, right? But the challenge becomes, how do you then take the data from these platforms and have a meaningful conversation with a grower? Because at the end of the day, the grower is the person whom you want to be able to pay you for those services. And if they're paying you for those services, the value that you should be delivering should be higher than what they're paying you. And there's their ROI. So the beauty about all of these platforms is they come with a very easily distinguished return on investment. Like classic case, an example. So if you were managing your crops, let's say it was cabbage or any other leafy green like broccoli, romaine lettuce, any of the high value crops. So if you're a grower and you said, a mid-season, and I know because I've sold my crops year after year for 20 years, all of my cabbage that are more than 7 inches, I'm going to generate more revenue off those cabbage. The cabbage that fall between 5 and 7, I'm still making okay money, but I sell them to a different market. And all of my cabbage below 5 inches, I make the least amount of money off that, and I sell that into, let's say, a meal prep, segment of the market. So I'm not selling it for the top dollar. With these technologies, the grower can hire us. We're the crop consultant. We can fly over his cabbage or her cabbage field, and then we can tell them exactly, of the 120,000 cabbage, you have 45,000 cabbage that are 7 inches. So that's perfect. Now you have 40,000 that are in the yellow, and then you have 36,000 that you really need to focus on. And here's the map of where they all are, right? So now you, as the grower, you're looking at the map, and instead of looking at a color picture, you're now looking at individual plants that are either big or small. So now you have a much more effective way of managing that harvest, because you can apply whatever field treatments you need to spike the growth in those areas where you only want the growth to happen, right? And it's the same thing for height. I know Sylvia's coming out with a new release soon, and you'll be able to determine plant height. Once that comes, there's a lot of crops like cotton where there's a stunting where you want to make sure that all the plants are at the same size. So these technologies allow us to be able to have meaningful conversations with growers. And at the end of that conversation, all we have is a drone, a subscription. Like Luis said, even if you wanted to get into like a pay-as-you-go starter package, if you have a drone and that technology, you can then deliver value to your grower, to your clients, that is going to instantly impact their harvest, right? Because again, if we roll back the clocks in that conversation, if we were that cabbage producer and we had 10 acres of cabbage, and we then knew after Luis came and did the survey and produced the results and gave us the yield map, we knew exactly where to work on our cabbage to generate more revenue. That is a win for both of us. So I think the way our approach is we're trying to make digital agriculture accessible for everyone, right? Because everyone who's growing crops for the rest of us to eat, the more effectively we can help them through the harvest to lower their costs, to increase their yields, is going to definitely add to sustainable agriculture. And in the long run, I think we all benefit. So thank you, Femi, so much for inviting us. Luis, thanks for bringing me along. I'm really happy about, anytime we have an opportunity to deliver this message.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. Amazing. Let me bring on my friend. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Truly, what you mentioned, the last point you said, which is making digital agriculture accessible to everyone, it's actually the key. I mean, that's actually, and from your conversation, Mike, before I go back to Luis, you made mention of something key, and I think it is relatable to everyone on this call, because I bet you many of us on this call coming from the from that side of the world in Africa and some other, now in this era, we now see that digital agriculture is decentralized. Like everyone has access to digital agriculture platforms, technology. And guess what? Even through our mobile phone. And guess what? Africa has the fastest growing rate of adoption of smartphone and internet access.
Very cool.
So and it is, yes, you can check that.
Look for me.
You want to say something? Yeah.
Sorry, that is an example that I use all the time. I am from Mexico, so I remember that 15 years ago, let's say that just the middle high class or just the higher class, they were able to have a phone, that they were able to have a smartphone or a cell phone, and sometimes you'll be surprised that, oh my God, now this girl, she's using a smartphone. Wow. So that is the same thing that is going to happen with farms. First, you're going to see that the first farmer that starts using drones, you're going to see, oh, he's rich. Wow. But in 15 years, it's going to be the normal. It's going to be the normal.
You're right.
That is for sure. That is for sure. And then I have been following Africa since the beginning of Agrobyte, because Africa has a need, and it is where actually you can execute all these technologies in a very faster way, in a very fast way, where you can see results right away. Again, please don't get this wrong, but sometimes because of the lack of regulation in countries like Africa or even in Mexico, this technology has been acquired. It's growing like super fast. Me being from Mexico and now working in the US, I have seen that in Mexico there are sprayer drones all over. all over.
Mm.
In many farms, they are already using sprayer drones, whereas in the US,
Mm.
sometimes because of all these regulations,
Mm.
it is just starting. It is just beginning this acquisition of technology. So,
You're right.
well, where I'm going to with this is that food companies they have been using this technology for a while, but we want to focus on the farmer, on the regular farmer.
Mm.
And
Mm.
I think that, for example, another example that I always use is like 3 years ago, you can people will be questioning you having a sprayer drone. You say, no,
Mm.
that is crazy. 2 years
Mm.
ago, you say, oh, that's innovative. 1 year ago, you can say that was a luxury.
Mm.
Right
Mm.
now, you can say, okay, so maybe it is a need, and then the next year you're gonna say, puta, I will be dumb if I don't start using this technology because the farmer here is using it, the farmer there is using it, and okay, and then the thing, it is all about money, right? It is all about money. So using these drones, you can have a better crop. You can have a better harvest. You can make more
Mm.
money with your product, with your crop. You're going to be managing it in an easier way. You're going to be, I don't want to say reducing labor, because the idea is that more workers can do more stuff in your farm, So if you are growing corn, instead of harvesting 12 tons per hectare, maybe with this technology you will be harvesting 13, So that will
Mm.
be one extra ton, that yes, that this extra money could be also divided into the farm workers there,
Mm.
So,
Mm. Mm.
so it is a multiple purpose solution. You are increasing your yield, you are increasing the quality of your yield, you are
Mm.
saving on chemicals,
Mm.
and then you are also building a workforce, in
Mm.
your case, in my case, that we have a school, an academy. So in your case, you are building the workforce of the future because
Mhm.
people they have to learn how to use it. Right now, everyone knows how to use a smartphone. That is
Mm.
yes, everyone. But 15 years ago, that wasn't that easy.
Mm.
So that is what is going to happen with drones and digital agriculture.
Yeah, I think Lewis made a really good point too. The the main benefit too when it comes to labor isn't reducing staff; it's reallocating labor and increasing utilization, right? Because instead of having your field staff doing mundane tasks of field validating or field checking and doing specific tasks, the drone eliminates a lot of those workflows. So what you're doing is you're still employing those employees, but they're now being more productive because they're not spending their time on menial tasks that are just completely replaceable by an image from a drone. So the reallocation of labor really does add up from an ROI. And the other the other component is understanding how to explain that to your clients is
Mm.
important, right? Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to explain it, well, you can fire these people or what have you. You want to explain that you're going to be able to increase your utilization. So you'll be able to generate more revenue off your field and your labor by
Mm.
having more productive and efficient in what they're doing. And that's a big component
Mm.
of digital ad. So I saw one of the questions I saw was what platforms process satellite imagery? They all do. Solvi,
Mm.
Agrobyte, CultiWise, they all will accept satellite imagery. The caveat there is, as Lewis mentioned before, your ground sampling distance, your pixels per whatever unit of measurement you're using, if we're metric or imperial, is going to be a lot higher. So the resolution is not going to be as good. However, This is something that we deal with all the time. When you're capturing imagery with your drone, it's not set it and forget it. Like, you can't use the same flight plan for every capture. If you're capturing imagery because the desired output is going to be yield or counts or stand counts, then the focus of that flight mission is then high resolution. So then what you're doing is you're flying a little lower, a little slower. You're configuring your camera for optimized resolution, and then you fly. So you're getting like, 0.2 pixels per centimeter to 0.5 pixels per centimeter. That generates beautiful counts, right? All the AI platform, or all the AI within the platforms on the market, easily will take that up and do their work. With satellite imagery, you're not going to get that pixel. So satellite imagery is great for health, right? Because then you can fly higher, faster, and it doesn't really matter. Because the difference between the two flights is, when you're flying for counts or yield estimations or for stand counts, you want high resolution. When you're flying for plant health, even satellites can do it, because all they're doing is they're measuring the reflectance values of those beams of light on the biomass of the plant. So you can get those readings from space, or you can get those readings from a Mavic Mini, right, with an RGB camera. So for generating plant health maps, it's pretty straightforward. The difference and I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because it's a very big conversation, but the difference between RGB imagery versus multispectral imagery. RGB you can apply several vegetation indices to RGB imagery, which are going to produce somewhat decent results. Like, you will know where stressed plants are for sure. Now, multispectral imagery gives you more vegetation indices, just countless vegetation indices that you can apply to that imagery. So the net result of that deliverable is you have more information on potentially what's causing the stress, or what the stress is, like it's a nutrient deficiency, right? If you're using hyperspectral sensors, then you could probably narrow down what nutrient you're deficient thereof, but most of us don't have $250,000 for a hyperspectral sensor. But when it comes to multispectral and RGB, the flight plans are different, and the outcomes are different. It's very straightforward though, and that's the beauty about what Luis was saying earlier. Like, you don't need to invest a lot to get going. You have to first understand how to position what you'll be delivering to your clients, but then you could be delivering like really good results with a Mavic 2, like a Mini, right? As long as you're not over promising, saying we're going to know like deep health statistics underneath the canopy. Excuse me. But generally speaking, you can deliver really good results. So don't let multispectral imagery hold you back from diving in. That's one thing I really want to stress, because from the time I spent it solely, it's like 50-50 in terms of how much RGB and how much multispectral is in their system. And they have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of data sets uploaded into that platform. So don't hold back, dive in. That's what I would add to that, Femi. Sorry for going off too long there.
Oh yeah, that's I enjoy hearing you. So keep on. Thank you so much. So I mean, what you just said now, I got a point line. You do not just need to hone your bank to start practicing digital agriculture with drone technology, as low as how GB cameras off the shelf drones can actually give you insight, that you can actually use to improve your agricultural practice. We have got other question here. Well, let me quickly say this. Felipe Sosa is saying, great talk, Mike. Okay. And we have a question from Mike Baye. It says, technology, especially with drone usage in every sector, seems to be strange, or it's like it's a taboo or very limited in terms of research in the Republic of where I am originated. This is why we're also talking about this. It's everything sounds strange at the start, like Luis mentioned, and also from my experience here in Africa, you just have to start somewhere. When smartphone came about, let's say 15 years ago, I would say, I'm not. Yeah,
You're breaking up a little bit, Femi. So I think it's a packet loss. So, but one thing I will say
Okay.
on this right here, there are crops that might, and I'm not 100% sure of your question, Mike. I think what you're saying is there's some negative connotations about that specific crop potentially. If that's what you're saying, one thing to keep in mind, Canada, where I'm from, we legalized cannabis in 2018, and it's become a very popular crop, and it's become a very popular destination for digital agriculture because it's a high value crop, as with tobacco, and it has a lot of similar needs too. So the very first component I feel that everyone would benefit from would be learning the pain points associated to the crops you want to support, right? So you can pick a couple of different crops, and like strawberries and blueberries, they're very susceptible to dieback. It's a form of mold that once infected, and it usually happens during the first stage of growth and could happen throughout the growth, but it's more of a moisture issue what ends up happening. But knowing that knowing that pain point gives you the talk track, like what to say, saying, hey, look, you're growing blueberries, you're growing strawberries. I know that dieback is a bit of an issue. So are stand counts in the beginning and getting establishment through your emergence phase. So, hey, what I could do for you is I could give you some low level flights to get you some solid stand counts. So you know how many you planted versus how many are in the field today, giving you enough time to do your replants. So that's a service you can deliver based on knowing a pain point that crop has. You can also then say, hey, look, I understand that dieback starts hitting your crop, like maybe in vegetative V2 to V4, vegetative state 1, 2, 3, 4. So that scenario where I think I would like to come in maybe week 2, do a capture, and I could show you where all your stressed or unhealthy plants are. And that would be a great indicator for potential dieback. I'm not sure if it's going to be dieback, but I know that it's a stressed plant. For tobacco is a high profit yield crop. Well, at least in North America it is. So per acre or per hectare, it's some good money. So knowing the health of those plants, knowing the size of those plants, again, I think the best way to overcome any issues, Mike, that you might be having in that particular industry, we'd love to have a conversation. Anytime Femi will give you my contact information, I'd love to have a conversation with you, is understanding their pain points. Because rather than talking about any of the negative stigma, you have a very focused conversation of, I know that it's important in your tobacco cultivation over the course of the season, this, and this. Here's what I could do for you to resolve and lower those pain points with my programs. And the beauty about it, from my perspective, is the less you talk about drones and the less you talk about multispectral imagery, and the more you talk about here's what's going to work for you, the better off you're going to be. So hopefully I've been able
Yes.
to sort of help you with that question there.
Okay, so let me just quickly add to what you said. Truly, there are a lot of factors limiting the use of drone technology generally in agriculture, and not to talk of research it. But let's go to your next question, which is, as being a biologist, emerging researcher who is passionate about food security via smart agriculture, what would be some recommendation from you guys to me? Okay, if I would go first, my recommendation to you is join our community, and this is actually a community of tech inclined and digitally savvy farmers and agricultural professionals like you. You need to actually be in the community where you can be able to learn, gain some knowledge. We do a lot of education and knowledge sharing. Peer-to-peer learning opportunities are being shared. You need to actually always join webinars like this so that you are updated your knowledge, and also go online. We are now in the digital age or information, where you can be able to learn one after the other and seek to see how you can apply your knowledge to your field, into your interest. You would be And that's how people like us started. I'm from Africa like you. So you just have to, I can see the passion, I can see the interest, I can see that. So you just have to build on that interest. You need to actually make your turn your passion into substance. All right. So you are from Liberia. Perhaps not much is going on with the use of drone technology in research, but trust me, you can be a pioneer, just like the Flyingfarmer is actually doing here in Nigeria and some part of Africa. So yeah, that would be my advice to you. Now, Mike, Lewis, you want to chime in on that to help
Yeah, I
my
think,
brother?
well, I know from experience,
I,
there's a lot of large
so
corporations
here,
that are conducting a lot of
yes,
field research
yes.
in
So,
Africa.
hello, can you listen to me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, we
Yes.
can hear you. Please go ahead,
So
please.
look, for example, research it is a very important component of digital agriculture. However, many times the researchers have been playing, let's say, on the side. Uh-huh. So here, what we have done at Agrobyte is that we have asked two researchers to help us collaborate with us. So we have an agronomist with a PhD that teaches at the University of Baja California. And then we also have a GIS specialist with a PhD in geomatics that he teaches in mechatronics at the University of Tamaulipas. Uh-huh. So here is the thing. In this case, on one hand, the researchers they have access and they understand all these complicated case studies. They understand all these different analyses from another point of view. So the idea, what we do is we learn from them, on one hand, but then on the other hand, we show them how to execute, how you say, work on the research, because we don't want researchers just to keep writing beautiful articles. We want these articles, or we want these studies and this research to be shown in a practical use. People they want to see a practical use of all these publications. So in this case, me being a biologist, I am sure that you can for sure how to say take advantage of all this software in way deeper level that I could, because I don't have all your knowledge. I don't have like all the information that you have in terms of biology, for example. But then when you start looking at this software, at the deliverables that Mike was saying of this software with your knowledge, then is when you start saying, oh, okay, so here it is what I learned. So then is when you can, let's say, translate all these terms and all these, how we say, fancy words to the farmer. So that will be the answer to my question.
Very cool.
To your question, sorry.
What I would add to that too, though, Mick, is let's say you and I were just talking and you asked me the same question. What I would say to you would be, first figure out where you see yourself in your specific sector, right? Like, do you want to consult local growers? Do you want to work with larger research companies? Because there's a lot of them out there. So first off, figure out where you see yourself going. And if you're going towards supporting local growers, then it's really easy because you have the background to be able to take that data, like Lewis was mentioning, and where most crop consultants stop, or drone service providers end, right, is we'll come right up to and here's what to do. We'll come up with something. Here's all the problems you have. Here's everything, and there's your problems. And if the farmer says, how do you fix them? I go, I don't know, but you do because you're a biologist, right? So you can then work with the farmers on taking what the problem is that's been highlighted by the imagery, and then creating a solution to mitigate that problem. But that's a lot of stuff to do. But if I was to break it down in small chunks, Mick, what I would advise you to do would be to figure out where you see yourself in the space, right? Because if you're going to be working for a larger research company, they have all the tools. So it's just a matter of you working for them. But if you want to start consulting with local growers, then the very first thing I would do is pick a platform to work with. It's either Picks for Fields, Agrimo, Solvi, CultiWise. Like there's a lot of them out there, right? So you pick your platform, learn the platform, and you could do it for free, right? So it's not going to cost you any money. And the other big component is take the messaging, create your messaging. That's so important, because when you're talking to your potential clients, the last thing you should ever be saying is drones and multispectral and imagery. What you should be talking about is, what crop, what are your pain points growing these crops? What are your challenges growing these crops? What has been your historical issues? If you could wave a wand and remove 5 of the biggest problems you have, what are those 5 problems? Because maybe with my imagery and my background, I could help you mitigate some of those problems. So that's what I would do. What software and data analytics? So much. So there, as above mentioned, we have Solvi.ag, you have agrimo.com, you have farmair.io. Farmair is a platform exclusively for vineyards. It is an amazingly impressive platform. You also have CultiWise, which is a great program as well. So I think we can work with Vimy to give you guys a list that he could share with you guys, because they're all really valuable platforms. They all have good stuff.
And look, and again, Google Earth. Google Earth is, for me, it is the first one. You mentioned in the beginning GIS. So GIS, it is another super important component in drones and digital agriculture. Having an understanding about the shape files, the KMLs, how to read satellite data, how to read maps, how to use software like QGIS, which is free, ArcGIS, which is not free, but it's kind of the same. So again, Google Earth and QGIS, which both are free, I think that they are, yes, it is compulsory to start learning about this software, besides the specialized software that Mike has mentioned right now.
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%. I'm trying to think of, I think all of the ones we mentioned work really, really well. So I think that we've answered that question. The first thing to do would be to take a look at trialing one of them, right? So you have a trial period. I think that would be, if you have some data, let's say you got a couple of data sets. I know Solvi has a free trial where you can upload 3 data sets into that platform, right? So upload your data into that platform or any of the other ones. That one's very easy, the trial process for Solvi. And then once you have the data in there, it's very intuitive. It's very intuitive. So it wouldn't take you long to sort of understand how to get some easy information out of it. The other beauty about all of these platforms is they all have really powerful PDF reports that come out of them, right? So you're not limited to the online version of representing the data. So you can also download PDFs and email them to your clients. And the PDF reports are an exact replication of the visual data that you saw when Luis was doing his presentation. So the grower gets the value of, I can see how many plants. Oh, okay, that's really cool. And they know where the stress plants are, because you get a health map, a count, zonal statistics. Whatever you engage onto that data set, the report will extrapolate the results. So it's really good. I agree with that. That's not a question. That's a yes. Amen. That's happening. I agree. 1000%. The future is now. You know what would be interesting, Femi, would be if we can ask all the audience, like, what's been holding them back uh, to adopting, aerial imagery as a means of delivering value to growers. I'd like to know, what's keeping people on the sidelines, what's stopping them from saying, yeah, I'm going to do it. That's what I want to know, because the more we can answer those questions for the masses, the more we'll have people on our side moving this message forward. Because at the end of the day, we need this message moving forward, because we know it's proven technology. We know that it's going to have value to the client, and it's fun flying drones, right? So if we can combine all that together and have a meaningful impact on an industry that we all rely on, I think that's really, really powerful.
You're right. You're so right. So to your question, this is why we are having this webinar, and
Nice.
I would like you to know that there are tons of limitations, but trust me, this is why Precision Field Academy is here to bring the awareness of these emerging technologies to professionals. You can see many of the professionals, they are young and bright minds that are going to change the future of agriculture down south, you know, and where the technologies are just moving in. Okay, so we have, factors hindering from regulation to awareness to skill gap, and these are the things that we are doing our best to close, and partnering with thought leaders like you and industry leaders like you, we can be able to bring this knowledge closer. We can be able to bring the awareness, the benefit of digital agriculture, drone technology, GIS, and all of this emerging technology, bring it closer. And when we are aware, we can begin to think, how does this technology fit into our context? You're based in Canada, global north. We're based here in the global south. The crops you grow in the global north are different from what we grow, but the same principle of precision agriculture applies. So how can we begin to apply this technology into our crops like cassava? You don't grow cassava in Canada, but we grow cassava here, and it's actually our major staple crop, amongst other crops that are common. So these are the things that we want to actually achieve. And thanks so much, guys, to Luis of Agrobyte, and thank you so much, Mike. I mean, for this opportunity, and trust me, this will not go in vain. This will not go in vain. So we have about more than 100 people watching us right now. Even from our community. Yes. So amazing, amazing, and trust me, we would love to also have you back, create programs to actually solve this challenge. Of course, I have my friend Liz here, who is a senior colleague and a great motivation. I know that we can be able to deliver solutions that is demand driven. And that will come with value also. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys. It's about time for us to actually wrap this up. Thank you so much. So, guys, if you have questions on the community, we can share you. If you have questions, further questions, please do well to send them our way. We would treat them, and till we see you next time. That's next month edition of Agriculture 4.0. We would say keep learning, just like it's on the screen. Digital agriculture is transforming the global economy.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me, Femi. Hi to
All
everyone
right.
on the call. I hope you the best today, and we'll be chatting again soon. Take care, guys.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Luis. Thank you so much, guys. So we will draw the curtain here, and good one.